Have you ever delegated a task and got something back that was not what you wanted? Well, I wasted 3 years of my life that I will never get back dealing with the frustrating back and forth before I figured out this 5-minute template that completely changed my business. When I started building my team, I thought delegation would be simple. Just tell someone what to do and they do it, right? Wrong. I'd send off what I thought was clear instructions and then just get back complete crap. Then I'd have to re-explain what I wanted. They'd revise it. I'd have to do a little bit more explaining. They'd have to do a little bit more work. And it was like this long process that if you ever delegated before, you know what I'm talking about. And I felt like I was spending more time just managing the task than if I would have just done it myself in the first place. It was frustrating for me and also my team members. And the turning point came when I realized something absolutely crucial. The problem wasn't my team. It was how I was delegating. And today I'm going to share with you the delegation template that changed everything for me. It takes about only like 5 minutes to fill it out. Fill it out? Are we typing or drawing here? It only takes about 5 minutes to fill the thing out, but it saves hours of the frustrating back and forth process. I'm going to share my screen in just a little bit, and I'm going to show you exactly what this template looks like. All right, here it is. So at the top, you see that there is a video link right here. That's going to show you exactly how to use this template. So you don't have to remember everything from this video. It'll be right on the template for you. So number one, you're going to notice two parts of this. We have an example, and then we have a template. So basically the example is what I'm going to go over with you right now, just how I outline a task, the information that I give, so that I eliminate 95% of the frustrating back and forth when I give my team a task and I get it back and it's done right the first time. Now the second part, this is the template. So you can literally just copy and paste this so that you use the structure and fill out the information so that your task is outlined in a way that can eliminate that frustration, the whole back and forth process for you and your team. Because when it comes to delegation, communication is absolutely the key. And the way I like to explain it is it's kind of like writing a paper or an essay when you're back in school. You need structure, clarity, and a process to make sure that you get your ideas across effectively. Now, I'm going to quickly walk you through the 3-step process I use when delegating a task. All right. So step number 1 is brainstorm everything. So I don't know if you remember this. I used to brainstorm. I'd create like a spider web of stuff. So it's like if I have, we'll just go with this example of I need a landing page created. I like to just brainstorm ideas. I just get it all out. So landing page is what I need, right? What do I need for a landing page? I need content. I need pictures. I need graphics, kind of help illustrate what the words are saying, right? The other thing is this is a sales page, so I'm going to need products. What do I need for products? I need name, price. What's another thing? Payments. So instead of taking everything up front, maybe there's a payment plan. Need examples. How do you know what I want it to look like, right? Examples. So I kind of just get all the ideas out. What do I need? What do I need? And what's the goal? Easy way for people to sign up. That's good for now. Let's go with, you see, brainstorming is just like an info dump out of my brain. Don't need to overthink it. Doesn't need to be perfect. Nothing is perfect. You just get the ideas out of your head. What am I wanting done? What do I need done? What needs to happen for this to be successful, right? And this honestly is where most people go wrong. They skip this step completely and they just fire off a quick message in Slack or an email or a text message and they're like, I need this done. And they're like, all right, well, what do you want the web page to say? They're like, what are we selling on it? They're like, how much does it cost? What do you want it to look like? And they, most likely, good people, take the initiative. So they take the limited information that you give, and then they do their best. And they send you something, and it's like, what the hell is this? This is garbage. This isn't what I had in my mind. Right? That's what I did anyway. I know I'm human. I'm not the only one, right? It's like, what the heck is this? And, I just fired off a quick thing. So a lot of people skip this step. So brainstorm, get the ideas out, like what needs to happen for this to be successful. What is it I want to think about? Like, and I want to tell my team member too, like, hey, when I get this back and it's successful, it's going to look like this. You know, it has all these things. Now, the next thing I want to do is step number 2, which is take these thoughts and organize them into a logical order. Remember, when we wrote a college paper or an essay, we'd brainstorm, we get all these ideas out, right? And then we would basically create an outline. So as an example here, I'm going to go, let's just say step number 2 is create an outline. We got step number 2, create an outline, right? And remember, an outline was always like the thesis statement. Was that it? That was the first thing. And then you'd have like your introduction, right? And then each paragraph would have its own thesis statement, closing statement. I forget what they're called now. Wow, I don't remember, but you know what I'm talking about. That's the kind of outline we did. Like, we got the thoughts out, we created like the thesis statement, the closing statement, we did an intro and then a conclusion. Each paragraph kind of had its own like little like thesis statement and conclusion statement with the information in the middle. So we would outline like what were the things we were talking about. We'd go like intro, and then we go idea number 1, idea number 2, idea number 3, right? And then we'd have a conclusion, right? And each thing would have a thesis statement, some sentences, and a conclusion. A thesis statement, some information, a conclusion. A thesis statement, info, conclusion, so on and so forth, right? All the way down. And now we'd have an outline. Now we could go just right, because, man, we didn't know what to say in our essay. And that's why I hear a lot of people say they don't know how to give instruction because they're just winging it, you know? But when you start with a brainstorm, then you can create these outlines like this, because once you have an outline like this, it's so much easier to talk about. Like, I know exactly what needs to happen here. So that was a college paper. Here, what we're doing is we're taking these things and we're going step number 1. Number 1, design landing page. And what do we need for that? We needed the content. We needed the graphics. We need the pictures, and we need examples. That's a good one, right? Let them see what it is we're actually looking for. And then I'll do like instructions. I'll go over this one a little bit later, but that's step 1, right? And then step 2 is develop or set up landing page. So if you're using a builder or on, you know, whatever, you know, you build it. So we'd go like, what do we need? We need the approved mockup. We would need products. So we'd go 1, name, price, description, and maybe a payment plan. All right. And then we would say test everything before you send it to me. Make sure it all works, right? Let's see. Did I get everything? Products, examples, graphics, pics, content, and the goal. So now that I have this outline, I'm just going to come back to the example here that I got the task outline. All right, step number 1. I kind of did a little bit different, but it would be like design a landing page, right? Step number 2 would be create the page, right? Basically what I'm saying is I'm giving all the instructions. I'm giving the example. I'm giving the content. So this is a Google Doc with the words on it. And here's a folder with pictures that I'd want them to use. And I can get into more detail here, but I got the outline. That's the most important part. And then I'm giving them the actual example. I'm giving them the Google folder for the content, or the Google Doc, and then I'm giving the Google folder for the pictures. And then I'm giving them the step 2. Here's the information for the products. Here's the name, the price, the payment plan. Oh yeah, guess what? Once they sign up, they're going to need a thank you page, right? So I need a thank you page. Here's an example of a thank you page I like. Content, pictures. So I'm getting all the information together in this outline. And then I need you to connect it to the CRM, you know, add it to this an email campaign. You know, here's the name of the email campaign inside of my active campaign or Infusionsoft or whatever it is that you're using, and then test everything to make sure it's running appropriately. Now, before I go into more detail, let's go into step number 3, which is recording a Loom video, which is honestly the secret sauce. And if you never used Loom, you can go to loom.com. It's free. You can record up to 5-minute videos that are screen record videos. So you can record your screen and talk and point with your mouse and go to different web pages, exactly how I just did with the ultimate task delegation template. You saw I'm actually literally using Loom right there. And trust me when I tell you, it's a game changer, not just for me and my business, but everybody I've ever talked to that uses Loom. It's a game changer besides just for delegating. I've eliminated probably 80% of meetings inside of my business by using Loom instead. It's just very easy to just, instead of spending 30 minutes on a Zoom call doing the pleasantries, how's it going? How's everything going? And I talk a lot. I'm interested in people's lives. So it's a 30-minute call when I could have just done like a 5-minute Loom video. They could shoot me a 5-minute Loom video. We just spent 10 minutes total instead of 30 minutes. Anyway, that's just a little bonus tip. So for each task, what I end up doing here is I give a Loom video here going over the entire overview of the tasks that I'm going over. This is what I need done. This is why I need it. This is like the 30,000 foot view of how it all incorporates with everything we got going on. I just found that if people understand the end goal and they understand how it fits in with everything, they can they could take the initiative and make intuitive decisions to make it better, instead of just giving them something to say, just do this. And then, they could have done something to make it better because they do have brains. People are smart. They can usually help us out. So I do an overarching Loom, and then I do a Loom for each step. Like I'll do a Loom right here. So each step would get a Loom. I found that if I just do one long video, steps get missed, things get missed. It's really hard, especially if English is their second language, to just watch a really long video for anybody, really. So what I like to do is just a quick overarching view of the task, and then I like to do an individual video per step. That way they got one video for just that one step and things don't get missed. And I end up, saving 95% of the back and forth that I was dealing with before by utilizing Loom that way. Now, you don't have to do separate videos for each step if it's something silly like I shouldn't say silly, but something not as complex like a social media graphic. It's like, hey, here's a video, here's an example, here's the content, here's a picture. That's it, right? Like one video is fine with that. Obviously, if you got team members working with you, they'll know your brand. They'll kind of know, like they could pick out the pictures themselves. Really, they just need to know what it's for. And here's the content for it, right? Now, before I go into an example of how I would utilize Loom in the example that we're talking about, I want you to know why this works so well. It's because the team members, especially if English is their second language, they're able to read an outline of what the task is. They're able to hear me talk about it. And then they're able to see me going through examples. Like that's just next level right there. There's not any room for error when they're able to read, listen, and see what it is that you're talking about. And I found that this multi-sensory communication is the reason I can eliminate 95% of the frustrating back and forth. Now, I do hear from people just like I did back in the day. Well, I've been recording videos before Loom was a thing, but I went through the exact same thing when I was learning to record videos because they help so much. It's like, what do I say on the video? It's like you hit record and it's just like you're staring off into space. Like, what do I say here? That's why this template is so important, because you have that outline. The outline's done. Now all you got to do is talk about it. It's very simple. I'm going to show you here in a second, but I hear a lot of times from people where they're like, hey, it's just easier for me to jump on Zoom and talk to a human and talk it out. Yeah, but it's not efficient for you, for the other person. It's a huge waste of time. And this isn't a thing that, we're just born with, like people are good at. Like, I just know what to say on Loom videos all the time. No, it's a skill that's learned. And so it has to be practiced. You got to get good at it. But I can tell you, it's going to save you and everybody else that's like working with you so much time and frustration dealing with the back and forth. And what's funny, when I do jump on a Zoom call with somebody that's very adamant about it, I don't know what to say. They literally, I'm go, okay, go ahead and share your screen. What seems to be the problem? It's usually a problem, right? Like, oh, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I like. Go ahead and share your screen. And they share their screen and they just start talking about it. I don't like this. I don't like that. I like this about it, but I don't like this. And I'm like, that's what you say on the Loom video. That's it. Just pretend like the Loom is a person. And you're like, you pull it up and you're looking at it, and your mind is saying it already. You're like, you pull up a task that somebody did for you and you're like, what the heck is this? What's that? Oh man, I need it like this. I need it like that. Hit record. Hey, this is what I don't like about it. This is what I like about it. This is what I need to change. This is what it needs to be, and what's cool is, especially working with, the same people over and over again, they start learning how you like things done. The Loom videos are actually training them to be more efficient and more effective and save your time as time goes on. So let me show you how I would record a Loom video based on the example that we have here in the Ultimate Task Delegation template. So number one is I would pull this up and I would record Loom, and it is as simple as clicking a button, and I would literally just say like, hey, for this task, we need to create a landing page. So what I want to do is I'm going to be launching a new offer and a new product to our audience via Facebook ad, so that I can just run an ad. People are going to click on it and they're going to come to this page, and I need them to buy right away, right? I know that's kind of a dumbed down version, but it's like, what's the overarching like 30,000 foot view plan of this thing? Where does it fit in with everything else? So I'd tell them like, hey, I'm going to be testing this. So we're probably going to be making pretty fast tweaks, and so we can collect data and see if it's working in conjunction with all of our other marketing efforts. So I just give them that overview. Like, what we're doing is we're going to create the page. We're creating new products because this is a new offer. And then when people buy, they need to go to a thank you page to get all the information they need on what they just bought. Then we also need to connect it to our CRM. So we're going to need that when they purchase, that it goes into the CRM, they're tagged appropriately, and they're going into the correct automation. And then of course, the last step is we're going to test everything, make sure it's working properly before you send it back to me telling me that it's done. So that's it. I'm going to go over each step in another Loom video. I hit end, and with Loom, when you hit end, it goes and it literally copies already the link, so that I can come in here and I can just paste it right here. Boom. I just freaking right click, paste, boom. It pasted in there. And then I would click on Loom again and I would record. Okay, so for step number one, here's the example. Tony Robbins has this webpage. What I really love about this one is how colorful it is, how big up front it is right in our face. His face is right up in our face, and I love that. I love how big the hero section is here, how big the font is. It really just stands out. I love that it's a black background with white letters, because it really makes it clean. It really makes it look like it's popping. And I love how, we got like these sections here, and when I hover over them, it kind of starts a video. I really love this like gallery view. And then I love how this section is a video. I love how, it's got the big white fonts right there. I love how each section is just really, really big. And his testimonial section is fantastic. I really like how, what I don't like though, is the buttons. The buttons kind of blend in. So I would be afraid that it would affect the conversion rates by it not really looking like a button. It's not really standing out. If I'm scrolling through, I'm just scrolling past the gray buttons. I think Tony Robbins can get away with it because his audience is such diehard people that they already know, love, and trust him, that they're going to look for the thing to take the next step. So I would want our buttons to kind of stand out, maybe some brighter colors. It gives it a little contrast as well. I don't like the audio, so I would not want to have audio right here on the home page. And then, they got the call to action, start now. I really dig that. Again, just don't like, if you're an entrepreneur that does all this, like, you're in the right place. Here's another section. So each section is divided by a line, so you know which section to do. We got call to actions here. So yeah, this is the content that we'll be using for the landing page. And then I'm giving you this Google folder here. You have access to it. I basically shared by copying the link. You got access to it now, of just pictures to use on the landing page. And there you go. Boom. I would end the Loom video. I would paste it right here. I would record another Loom video and say, all right, so for products, I got 3 products. In this case, I just got 1 product, but you could have like 3 products. Here's the name of the first product. Here's the price. Here is the payment plan. So it's a lot of money. So it's $10,000. So I want to be able to collect $10,000 if they pay everything up front. I also want a 2-pay option. So they could pay not $10,000 up front, but they'd pay a little bit extra. So they'd be paying $6,000 now and then $6,000 30 days from now automatically. So I need that automation to happen. So I'm not trying to run everybody's card in 30 days. I need it to happen automatically. So you need to test that very thoroughly. And then I would end the Loom video. Boom, I'd paste that in here. Now they got that. And then the third one, I'd hit record. on Loom, and I would say, all right, here's a thank you page. Here's an example of a thank you page. Here's the words that go on the thank you page, and here's the pictures I want to use on the thank you page. So I'm just, again, giving an example of a thank you page, giving them the content so they can just copy and paste the words. And here's some pictures to use on that. I wouldn't need another Loom video for something to be as quick as like, hey, connect it to my Infusionsoft, and I need you to add a tag to add them into this campaign, so that right when they hit submit, it goes into this automation where they start getting these emails right away. And then just make sure you test everything thoroughly before you give it to me. Hit end, put the Loom video there. I'm done. I can copy and paste this now and give it to my team. Do you see how simple that was? I just walked through what I wanted. Here's some examples. Here's the content. I kind of explained my thinking a little bit behind everything. It takes me about 5 minutes and saves me hours of the back and forth. Even if it took 10 minutes or 15 minutes, think about how much time, hours is wasted when you get something back that's not done the way you want. The going back and forth, the waiting on their time zones, the waiting to get back the revision. I mean, it's just a huge time suck when you could take a little bit of extra time and get it done right the first time. And just so you know, when I implemented this with my company, Desk Team 360, our revision requests dropped by 80%. Projects were completed so much faster. My team's confidence skyrocketed, and I stopped dreading delegation on what kind of work am I going to get back this time? One of our clients, Kirsten, I remember she submitted a Google Doc slide presentation task. And she's like, yeah, they're just not hitting it. They're just not nailing it. I could have done better myself, which is exactly what I used to say. And I was like, let me look at the request. It was like, she gave the word, but she gave too much instruction, like, I want it like this. I want it like that. I want it like that. And I was like, what would probably work really well with a presentation like this is just what I do for presentations. I was like, just give them the words. Like, you don't need to go into a Loom video and explain absolutely everything. It destroys their they're graphic designers, like they're creative. And if we're telling them every little thing, it keeps them in a box and like they can't be creative with it. I literally just give them a Google Doc and I'm like, slide 1, words, slide 2, words, slide 3, words. Like, that's it. And I give it to them and I let them come up with like 3 different versions. And it's absolutely fantastic. So she did that and she's like, oh my gosh, like these are so much better than what I freaking even had in my mind. And another client of ours, Zach, he estimated that he was saving about 8 hours per project that he would give us. And he was able to save so much time, like he was able to blow his business out of the water. It was amazing. But people are able to do that because this template works, because it forces you to get clear on what it is that you want before you even delegate it to somebody. And remember, your team members are not mind readers. They can't see what's in your head. Unless you use this template like this, then they can see exactly what you want. And the truth is, unclear communication isn't just inefficient. It also demoralizes your team members. Think about it. When people got to constantly redo work because you're not happy about it, they think that they're failing, even when the real failure is in the communication itself. I'm happy to share this template with you because it changed everything for me. It transformed delegation from being an absolute complete time suck into a smooth and efficient process that actually saves me time, and a lot of it. Remember, the goal isn't just to get the task off your plate, it's to get the work back done right the first time to actually save you time. So you can download this template that I just went over with you by clicking on the link in the description and try it with your next delegated task and see the difference that it makes. If this video helped you, go ahead and click the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you want to see the next videos that I have coming out like this. And if you know someone that could benefit from this video, stop what you're doing, go ahead and share it with them right now. And if you're ready to build your dream team, then click on the other link in the description to see how insourcing beats outsourcing 100% of the time. And I'll see you in the next video.